Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get all the updates. That's it for today's video. So it's a Goose Island Bourbon County variant that I'm super excited for because I love port, and this one has some port aging involved. So it's the Angel's Envy, and I'm going to read everything. And if you're just interested, fast forward to the review. But I just figure some people might not be able to get this, and they just want to know as much as they can. So I'm going to do everything. So I'm going to start by reading the side. So this year we are thrilled to introduce the newest addition to the Bourbon County family with our first ever Cask Finish Stout. Inspired by innovation of our friends at Angel's Envy, we embarked on a journey to craft a truly exceptional stout. This stout was carefully aged in freshly emptied barrels that once held Angel's Envy Kentucky Straight Bourbon, allowing the unique layers of flavor to intertwine with our stout. But we didn't stop there. We then transferred the beer to second-use ruby port wine barrels, where patiently matured for another year. This secondary finishing process refined and amplified the flavors of cherry, spice, and cocoa. Interesting. Within our aged stout, I can definitely see cherry. I'm curious about this other stuff. Bourbon County brand 2-year cask finished stout is a testament to our legacy as the originators of bourbon barrel aged stout. Join us in savoring this remarkable beer, celebrating tradition, innovation, and true craftsmanship. There's something on this side as well. All right, situated on Whiskey Row in downtown Louisville, Kentucky, Angel's Envy stands as a testament to the rich bourbon heritage that thrives within our storied location. With a modern take on classic bourbon, yet a deep reverence to tradition, they boldly look towards the future of whiskey with a commitment to innovation. As is the case with all bourbon, it begins with expertly crafted whiskey aged in charred, new oak barrels. As pioneers in the art of finished whiskey, Angel's Envy takes a step further and places that whiskey into a secondary port wine finishing cask. It's a unique process, an additional step in their craft that further develops complexity while still maintaining a nuanced and beautiful expression. With exacting standards and a legacy of quality, Angel's Envy is leading the quote next chapter of bourbon, end quote. And that's what I don't know if you can see, that's what their bottle looks like of the actual bourbon. So I think at this point it's time for me to figure out how to open this. I think it's just up on top, right? There's nothing else funky to do. Just feels like it's gonna rip. Oh, we got it. All right. Oh, it's got something up here. That's kind of cool. Let's see. Brewed with respect to tradition with a unique story to tell, these barrels and beers are meant to be shared. Well, unfortunately, my wife doesn't like stouts, so I will not be sharing this. I will just be drinking it myself. But that's okay. There's plenty of other beers her and I split, like IPAs and stuff, so all good. All right. Should I keep this up? No. Off camera. All right, the bottle itself, stout aged in Angel's Envy bourbon barrels and finished in ruby port wine barrels. Says ages up to 5 years. Collaboration with our friends at Angel's Envy. 15.5% ABV. So this is the highest ABV I've had of this year's releases, and it looks like it was bottled on September 10th. All right, let's get into it. So it's been in the bottle for good 2.5 months. Proper glassware, so you know it's going to taste better. I can smell it all right. It smells really good. I do get some nice cherry, porty notes, a little bit of chocolate. All right, so that's a little darker than the other ones look, but it's in the same realm. Like, this definitely looks like a Bourbon County to me. It's mostly black with a little bit of brown. This one looks a little bit darker, but given the year this came out, or the year this would have gone into the first barrels, this is not the same that I had of the base, The head is sticking around pretty nicely. It's a mocha colored head. Legs also certainly there with some lacing. The legs have the slightest brown tint to them. Definitely looks the part. Let's get into the aroma. I love that aroma. Again, as someone who loves port wine and big barrel-aged stouts, like, this is definitely in my wheelhouse. Yeah, like I said when I was reading the side of that, when they said cherry, I'm like, I can definitely see how that would, be a flavor that would be, imparted into the beer itself. And certainly cherries in the aroma. A beautiful woodiness. It kind of reminds me of that cherry wood variant they did years ago. A little bit of cola. It's funny. It's like certain parts of the aroma, it's like bourbon counties of years past, because they did that cola variant as well. There is some chocolate coming through. Some strong vanillin notes, like where you can kind of, like, it's not close enough to vanilla, but it's like, oh, it's that barrel thing that kind of smells like vanilla. It's much more that than tricking you into thinking it's actually vanilla. Chocolate covered cordial cherries at times. Like more interwoven. Like at times it's separate cherry and chocolate, and then sometimes when you're smelling it, it smells like, no, it's more like interwoven. It smells fantastic. Just to keep saying that over and over again, this smells fantastic. Against a glass. Cheers. This is great. Wow. Yeah, this is great. This is what I wanted this beer to taste like. All right, so I'm not going to go too off on the other variants I've had so far. This tastes exactly like I wanted it to. And not that something has to, taste the exact same as you are going in hoping, whether it's beer or whatever. It can still be delicious and be different than what you were thinking. So I don't hold anything against a dish, a beer, whatever, that is not exactly what I envisioned, if it's still delicious, And like that Bananas Foster, where's the banana? And that was a disappointment for me. The Backyard, I'm still contemplating how much I like that beer or don't. It was such a weird one for me. There were aspects I loved, and then there were things that like took me out of it. Maybe just want the base, This is giving me exactly what I was hoping it would, and it's delicious. But again, I don't want to, vilify anything. Sometimes, expectations are subverted, and it's awesome, But man, this has like for me, the perfect, and I'm not using the word perfect in hyperbole. This has the perfect blend of port and Bourbon County Stout for me. I am on cloud nine. This takes me back to when pre-infection, when they would do the barley wine aged in the used regular Bourbon County Stout barrels. And although it was so much of barley wine aged in bourbon barrels, you would get a little bit of that stoutiness, and it was so awesome. And I liked that even though it was a barley wine, I was getting some stout. Even though this is a stout, I am so glad I'm getting that much port in it. This again, I need to take another sip to actually start talking more about flavors. But like, the base is so great, and to be let down by the next two I had, to then go to the fourth of this year's release that I'm trying, to be back up at that level the base was, again, it must be coming across on camera just how stoked I am. This is awesome. Just like the aroma, that level of cherry, awesome. The chocolate, I'm getting baker's chocolate. I'm getting a little bit of milk chocolate. I'm getting a little bit of dark chocolate. I wouldn't say like brownie batter or fudge. I don't get those kinds of like that super decadent chocolate. I don't get, but I'm getting complexity with these chocolate notes. There's a slight roast, a slight nuttiness. There's a really nice caramel note to me. Not as much as the base, but again, it's different beers that are in the bottle completely. That was a different brew even than this one. But that's nice. And just how the port complements what's there. And that's what I was hoping and was thinking. And I've had, a few stouts aged in port barrels, and they've been lovely. These are flavors that pair nicely. You get a little bit of that, like, not just cherry, but like red fruit, like like raspberries. You get some of those, dry red wine notes. The oak, lovely. You can taste the extra aging in this beer without it being too much. At no point is it like sucking on an oak stick or something, or like you got the end of a fudge sickle and you're sucking on the stick. It's not overly done at all, but it's more than a regular Bourbon County would be for sure. Yeah, this is definitely one of those more like a love letter than a review. I'm over the moon, and let alone that this costs more than the other variants and the base, obviously. So then you always kind of, you're putting yourself out there like, okay, I'm spending, I got this for $40, and it's like, this better be good, because that sucks if it's 40 and it's not good. I'm over the moon about how tasty this is. The way the bourbon hits, like that sip especially, again, this, to use the word perfect, it had the perfect hit of bourbon, specifically bourbon, not just alcohol taste, not just wood, not just actual like bourbon in a glass. It was funny, yesterday my wife and I were talking, I'm recording this and reviewing this on Black Friday. We traveled to my mother-in-law's, or to my sister-in-law's, for Thanksgiving yesterday, and we got talking about on the ride home about how I was going to wake up and go, get Bourbon County and stuff. She's like, "What? You ever like swirl like bourbon in a glass, then pour in the stout just to kind of see that, how that is?" I'm like, "No, I don't think I've ever, done something like that." Kind of reminded me of like vermouth for a martini. Well, it's kind of a cool idea. I'll give it a shot sometime. Just see if how I like that as a thing. And it's just kind of funny. She mentioned that yesterday, and then like in that sip, so specifically, for a moment and a half, it just tasted like really nice bourbon. And that was cool, adding to the complexity of this beer. Spices, I wouldn't say spices I get. I think they said cocoa and the cherry for sure. Yeah. Cherry, I don't know how you drink this beer and don't say cherry. Spice, that's not for me. I don't get spice in this. And then cocoa, I haven't said like baker's chocolate, for sure. So I 2 out of the 3 tasting notes they give, I'm right there with them. Yeah, this, I'm raving about this because it deserves to be raved about. I'm so happy with this. This is good. Redemption makes me excited for the last one I have. And I'm still waiting about the prop to see if I'm going to pursue that or not. But I got the other 5, and this is my 4th review of those 5, and it's got me excited for the 5th. Which is another big one. So super excited. If you guys had this one before, did you love it as much as I am? Because I'm looking at how much I have left, and I'm just like, I'm going to savor every sip of this. What are your thoughts on anything else? What do you want to talk about? Bourbon County related? Anything? Everything? Comment section below. Let's get a conversation going. Once you're done doing that, make sure you check me out on Instagram and Untapped. It's No Hype Beer Reviews about those places. So please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.